sound.
Under.
Ooh, oh, go on. Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm good. Tell me your name.
My name is Luke, and my surname is Pearce.
And is that your band name?
It is my
Your artist name.
It is
signature?
my artist name. Yes. It is my artist name, Luke Pearce.
Where does that come from?
It comes from my lovely parents who decided the fabulous. I was actually gonna be called Jethro.
Jethro.
Jethro was so.
Jethro.
Jethro.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
My dad just thought, let's call him Jethro, and my mum was like, not having that. So Luke was the alternative.
I think it's a good alternative.
Yeah, I agree.
Where are we, Luke?
We are in Marseille.
Marseille.
It's bloody gorgeous.
You're allowed to say fuck, it's okay.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
It's not a kids show.
It's not a kids show. Explicit.
Beep.
Beep, beep, beep.
So what do you do, Luke?
I am a musician. I am a songwriter. And I'm just about to begin my project under my own name, Luke Pearce.
Which is called?
Well, the project is going to be called Luke Pearce at the minute in terms of the releasing of music, but for a name, because I'm performing with other musicians now, it's still pending, but I think I can share. Something around Luke Pearce and the Internal Voices, or Luke and the Internal Voices, because I've got a lot of backing singers, so
I love that.
Something, or the IVs maybe.
The IVs?
Luke and the IVs.
Ah, okay.
We'll figure out how to word it. But
where does that come from? What was the inspiration behind that name?
It was once we started rehearsing. We've been rehearsing with 3 other female vocalists who are fabulous, and sort of realised a lot of the lines they're singing, or a lot of my lyrics are kind of me speaking to myself. So we've changed some of them a little bit, and it's almost like they sing a line, and it's like an internal conversation, a little bit. And yeah, one of them actually suggested, it sounds like an internal voice. That's quite a nice
That's
name.
very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So yeah.
Super relatable as well.
Yeah.
Because music kind of is a reflection of your internal voices. How you feel, emotions.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah.
Through listening to your music as well is definitely what I feel anyway.
Thank you.
What is this? Well, I know what it's called, but for Baboushka viewers, what is your next project going to be called?
So my next project is called Fame Kills, and it's a 6-track EP of songs that I've been working on in the past year with a family friend of mine called Graham Taylor, who's got an amazing studio in Southwest London. He's part of lots of English folk groups, and he's an amazing producer, so I've worked with him for a while now. And yeah, it kind of came together quite naturally. The EP is like essentially me playing guitar and singing, but then we've kind of built it up to sound a lot more atmospheric, and there's there's a few synths and sort of weird, strange noises in there, which so it's different elements of the live setting.
And this is your first solo project?
This is my first solo project. I have released one song a while ago, but this is my first one, kind of just writing solo. So it's exciting.
Talk to me about your musical background. So when was it that you started music? Like what inspired you? Everything.
Well, luckily my parents are both very musical. So my dad's played in lots of English folk bands, and he was in a comic folk group actually. So they played folk music, but they used to, because folk is quite a genre which is very like serious, and you've got to play nice music. But he'd sort of take the piss a lot, and it's sort of like as a parody. So
break the rules a bit. We love that.
Very humorous with a lot of the songs, which a lot of the folk community didn't like, but I think it's great. So that's him, and my mum is an actress, and she's also played in. She's a fabulous singer as well, and she's sung in lots of. They actually met at a festival, and my dad
a music festival.
Yeah, my dad his band were sort of the big act, and my mum was in this double act where she would sing and kind of performing art. They do not magic, but kind of mess around and stuff. And my dad was doing a sound check, and my mum their band were on earlier, but she was the only one in the audience, and my dad the song he was sound checking was a love song, and he kind of performed it to her,
That's such a meet cute.
Yeah.
That's such a meet cute. You know meet cutes in films. Do you know what a meet cute is?
No, I don't. Tell me.
Have you ever seen The Holiday? The film The Holiday?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so like the old man in Hollywood is like, oh, this was such a meet cute. You know, when they meet each other.
Okay.
It's like it's like in films where you have this like romantic storyline and it's kind of like you run into each other. Yeah, the moment, which is a bit like whatever.
Yeah,
so it
exactly.
sounds like a thing out of the movie.
Yeah.
So you were inspired by your parents?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there's been music in my house the whole time, and grew up going to like theatre shows to see my mum, and yeah, I remember when I was 3 going to South Africa for like I don't remember that much, but for like 3 months. My mum had a show out there, and I do actually remember the amphitheatre. Me and my dad got kicked out because I was just screaming my head. But
how old were you?
3.
3.
Yeah,
when you were 3.
It was 3. Yeah, and it was like a South African style of it was a musical actually.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, because I do. I've also seen other shows. There's a great theatre company that's how my mum got into acting, and South African theatre company, and they sing. They take like Shakespeare often. I've seen them do Shakespeare, but in like in a South African way. If that makes sense. So like they change the language, they change the
rhythm.
Not set in England and stuff like this, but it's the same sort of backdrop. But it's amazing. So I love all that music, and it's a big focus on the voice, and they're very they have really strong, powerful voices, and a lot of a cappella stuff with no instruments. I love all of that.
Which is very much like your music actually. It's very acoustic what you produce.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Big focus on the voice.
And so when did you start getting into music?
I started playing guitar. I mean, I used to go to singing class at a very young age, which I think was quite influential. Probably since I was like 3 or 4, and then I had guitar lessons at school and the trumpet. Grade 2 on both.
Okay, nice.
Then,
so you could play it a little bit now still.
I actually picked up the other day, and trumpet's really hard because you
have to pierce your lips.
Yeah, you go like that. And you kind of make a fart sound. But you got if you're not used to it, your lip gets very tired. So yeah. I'm sure I could pick it up again.
Yeah.
Need a bit of practice.
Okay. What was the first song you ever wrote?
First song I ever wrote? Oh gosh. I remember writing one for English music GCSE, which was pretty terrible. Was it? Like the most cliched lyrics ever. Like,
was it a romance?
It wasn't even any. It was just like, just listen to your heart, something like that, blah, blah, blah. And it was like really simple chord, like 2 chords or something. So I remember that distinctly. But I think that was probably the first one.
Okay. Yeah. The first time recording a song? Yeah,
very rough. Oh no, actually no. First time recording a song was in the studio I've been recording already with Graham. So my dad's group had a song called Valerie Wilkins.
Yeah.
And it's this song about this boy she's 6 and a quarter. He's 6 years old, and his next door neighbour is called Valerie Wilkins, and she always knocks on his door and says like, oh, I want to play nurses with you, and he's like, no, I want to play at war, I want to be like a soldier and all of this, and he really fancies her and stuff, and it's all these really funny verses, and he always wants to be the same age as her.
Yeah.
And he gets to at the end of the song, he's like, oh, now I'm 6 and a quarter, but she's 6 and a half, so he realises that he can never catch up with her. She's always going to be
6 and a half. Okay, yeah, that's so sad. How old were you when you recorded that?
So it was a present for my mum, because sometimes when they went on gigs, I would sing it, because I was like 8 or 9 at the time, so my voice hadn't broken. So I'd come on stage and sing it. And
that's jokes.
Yeah.
So you started performing from when you were really young?
Yeah, quite young. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have loads, but I was surrounded by it a long time. Yeah, was it? And then for my mum's birthday, my dad was like, we're recording that, and we did, and I've got a recording of it, and I'm so glad we did it, because my voice sounds very young. I'm sure I'll release it at some point.
Yeah, please do. That'd be jokes. And you are releasing a single soon, which your dad wrote.
Yes, I am.
Tell me about it.
The song is called Not for the Soul.
Not for the Soul.
Not for the Soul. It's a love song, really, but again, in the style of my dad, it starts off with these lovely lyrics about a breakup and someone not being there for you when you need them, and then it kind of disintegrates into it starts talking about cheese and just like these ridiculous things, and it's like
I've heard you perform it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so it's a bit like it's kind of the juxtaposition between really nice melody and lovely tune, and then like these ridiculous lyrics, and so it's quite. I think it's quite funny.
Yeah.
But you can also take it as seriously.
Yeah. Well. And when are you releasing that?
That is going to be in August.
In August.
Yeah, it's all going to be in August.
So before this Baboushka.
Yeah.
So if you haven't, listen to it.
Listen.
It's on all platforms.
Link here.
Link.
Or here.
Well.
Or here.
I'll put it in the description.
In the sea. Over there. Yeah. Yeah. Link here.
In the description. Okay, so tell me why Fame Kills. Why the name Fame Kills?
Why the name Fame Kills? Because I myself have a hard time dealing with this idea of wanting to be famous or wanting to be liked. Well, yeah, I guess, and I think that's where it comes from, wanting to be liked. And I think a lot of our society is, based around people wanting to get respect and love, really, and often they think fame is going to give it to them. And I mean, I don't know because I'm not remotely famous, but I just don't think it will. So it's a reminder to myself that actually, I want to do music because I love music and it's powerful, and not because I want to be acknowledged. Of course, I do want to be acknowledged, but I'm doing it.
But you're not doing it because of that.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the love of the art.
Exactly.
You're not.
Exactly.
Like, exterior validation, of course, is great because it pushes you forward,
Yeah.
but it's not the end goal for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's what makes a true artist, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think so as well. But I think it's a hard, it's a hard line to stay with, because you can easily fall into the trap of doing things because someone will like that, or that's a trendy thing to do, which I've definitely done in the past. So it's like a reminder to myself to try and be as vulnerable, I guess, and honest as I can.
And it definitely is as vulnerable and as intense.
Thank you.
I told you when I first listened to it, because you sent it to me about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was on the RER.
Classic.
going to Ivry. We were doing like a theatre visit, and I wasn't sad, but when you're in a bit of a melancholic mood, and I put it on, and I was like, at the end of it, I just like, everyone deserves to be loved.
Yeah.
Your last tune, I was just like, I had like a few tears that fell down. It was just so nice, so like emotional, and you can see how raw it is.
Yeah.
The one that we as in our best friends will know is what's it called? The one with the saxophone.
Wrong Man.
Wrong Man.
Yeah.
Man. That solo comes out of nowhere.
I know it does. Yeah.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Thank you.
But I think you can tell that, like, Fame Kills. I think there's, a few people could interpret that in different ways. But I think Fame Kills for you, it really resonates with, I think, everyone who has a minimum of empathy and just knows what being a human is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just anyone who knows how to do a bit of self-reflection or whatever can relate to that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes it beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. That's very kind.
What are so I see you've given me
I've jotted a few things out.
This is so great. This is when you know that.
That's me on a page.
That's you on a page. I love it because you wrote Baboushka and then a whole thing. And just for Baboushka listeners, gave this to me just before the interview, saying, if you wanna
surprise me,
surprise me. So Stephen Fry.
Oh yeah.
So wait, just for information, this is literally not just you should ask me about this and. It says random words. Some of them are very funny, but I'm very confused.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's
it's great. Works. This is how my head works. This is why I love it. So yeah, Stephen Fry. Tell me.
Stephen Fry. I just think he's great. I read a book of his about poetry, which really changed how I try and write lyrics. It's amazing. is basically talking about lots of people write free verse, which is like they think when you write poetry you just kind of write what you think and that's it. But he was sort of saying, well, actually there can be a structure, like in a song you have a verse, a chorus, a melody, and the fact that the structure itself gives, like if you want to write something sentimental, you can choose a structure which helps that because of the cadence of the words and the rhythm, like Shakespeare and iambic pentameter and all that stuff. It's like, so I was like, wow, that's like mind blowing.
And so that's an inspiration for you.
Yeah, well, I'd love to get more into like writing poems and what lyrics from a like more structured way, and because I think if you just otherwise you tend to fall back into the same habits. So, I've got to rhyme every second or fourth line,
and then that just takes away the fluidity of it.
Yeah.
Instead of just going with it and then finding structure along the way.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Well, it's like the structure itself can help. It's like he described it like a game, like if you just
draw between the lines.
Yeah, it's like a football pitch has an outline and it has rules, and then within those rules you can be creative and enjoy, express yourself. But without the rules, it would just be like chaos. It's like chaos and order, I guess. So it's like a little bit of structure, and then because if you just sit at a page and like, right, how do I feel? I mean,
that's just journaling.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah,
I journal every day.
Which is fine. Yeah.
But it's less. It's more. Yeah, well, that's what makes it art, I guess.
Yeah.
When you purposefully decide to do something for something.
Yeah.
Even if you don't release anything or whatever, but it gives you structure.
Exactly.
Like I've never written poetry in my life, but I just tried doing it, like being like, okay, this could sound good in my head.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Anything. And I was like, okay, well, like if I purposely say this is this, then you'll push yourself to think differently.
Exactly.
It's just a different perspective,
Exactly.
I guess.
Yeah. I think it's just the fact that you can write freely, but you can also write with some kind of rule.
Structure.
Yeah, some structure.
Yeah.
Which I didn't.
Structure.
Yeah, like it's mad, and also the fact that words, how you pronounce them, where you put the emphasis on the word.
Yeah.
I know the French English thing is like that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Learning languages. I mean, you know that.
Well, me is different because I started my education in France, moved from Paris when I was 7 to England, and so when in France we have CP, which is the year just before primary school.
Yeah.
And so that's the year where you really learn how to like write and read and And so I only did 1 year of that, and then I went to England. So I actually have the same education as you, pretty much, in English.
Yeah.
Except I took French lessons every week or something. My parents were like, "You need to keep it."
Yeah, of course.
But structuring is very, 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 very different.
Yeah.
And also, some words in English could be said the same way in French, but not mean the same thing.
That's what I've often heard when people are trying to learn English, and you don't realise it as a native English speaker, but the way you put the emphasis on it. I don't know. Here's an example, but like which or which.
Yeah. There.
Is that one?
Which or which? Yeah, you could say.
As in like the ones who fly around on brooms.
Yeah.
Which drink?
And which? It's like there, and there.
Yes.
Like I
Yeah.
Weirdly, I never had a problem with that.
Yeah.
And all my peers who are actually English, because I'm not English, I'm French. Just so you know, for those who don't know. I've never had a problem with that, which I just never. I think words came quite easily for me.
That's amazing.
Like that, but it's not like. Okay, I was gonna say I saw one which was funny.
Go.
Where was it?
It's fun.
Nearly being profoundly deaf!
Yeah.
Exclamation mark.
Yeah, profoundly.
And you wrote nearly being deaf, and then you put an arrow. Actually, I'm gonna put profoundly. I'm gonna actually show this because it's really funny.
Just in case you didn't.
Just in case. This one. Just being deaf. Nearly being profoundly deaf.
Oh, dear me.
You told me this story, I think.
Yeah, so my dad is profoundly deaf.
Yeah.
And that's how he describes it. That's probably why I wrote
That's
profoundly.
why you wrote it. Okay, I like that.
And I basically inherited his ears. So went on a flight to Greece when I was like 8 or 9. And just was in excruciating pain. And then once we got to Greece, my mum was like, okay, we got like 7 boats back home and 50 trains. Oh, not that many.
Wow.
Yeah. It was fun. We got to see Italy and stuff on the way back. But they took me to Harley Street, and because my dad's been through all the ear doctors and was like, this is your man. And he was like, yeah, you've got bad ears. So basically I had 4 ear operations and I got like a new eardrum now. So this part of my ear got cut off when I was younger, and that's why it's really flat. And it got made into a new eardrum because my eardrum had just like collapsed on itself.
That's crazy.
So I have like I think it's called a perforated eardrum. No, sorry, that's it. I don't know what it's called.
That's why sometimes you have like cotton buds and stuff in your ear.
That was one, yeah, that was, I think I just had an infection.
Oh, okay. We'll cut that out. Beep.
But,
oops, never mind.
But,
revealing parts of your.
That's alright, that's fine.
Private.
That's fine. That's fine. But yeah, luckily they're, touch wood.
There's wood here.
They are all, they're fine now. I hear perfectly well. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. Well, as a musician, that's why I always find it so remarkable when a musician can has like an impairment of some sort and can still manage to make music or make art or you know. Tragedy. Why? No, tragedy. Just tragedy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tragedy.
Love tragic art and stuff. I think tragedy is great.
What do you define as tragic?
You know, Romeo and Juliet, things like that. It was just like stories that end badly. Because I think, well, I know in Greek tragedy, I think was the idea behind that was that like you'd go to watch a tragic play, and you'd leave the theatre thinking, oh my gosh, like my life is never going to be as bad as that. So it makes you like appreciate your own life more. And I was like, I just think we need more of that because it's great to watch a film where everything goes great, or watch a play where everything goes lovely. But then you're like, oh my god, I've got to live up to that. But actually, when you see something like really awful, I feel like it makes you be more empathetic because you're like, wow.
Empathetic, and also I think it helps you take a step back from your own reality.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what's the word? What's the word?
En français, si tu veux.
En français, je me souviens même plus en français. I can't remember. It's bref. Okay, one last one.
Go for it.
Sex.
Oh.
Success, sex, psychotherapy are in the same.
Success, sex, and psychotherapy all together. The S's.
Whatever you.
I mean it's.
Oh no! You put failure more interesting than success.
I think there should be a line.
That's one line, and then you put sex and psychotherapy.
I don't know. I mean, sex is interesting. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and awkward.
And awkward.
Well,
it can be.
But yeah, just how it affects us. I guess our drives and how at the end of the day we're all sort of sexual beings and there's things that I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really know.
You wrote it.
Okay,
failure more interesting than success.
That's like the tragic thing.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I just think like the stories when things don't quite go to plan are more beneficial to hear because I think that's kind of what life's like, really, in my experience.
Yeah.
Things sort of go to plan, but then if you think they're going to go exactly like this and I'm just going to do it and it's going to happen, I mean, it never quite happens exactly.
Yeah.
Not that it can't, but I think it's useful to. It's like humbling and like I think like melancholic ideas are like really.
Well, life doesn't ever go to plan.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
You think everything's okay, and then the next day something will happen, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, and it's also funny.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. You shouldn't take life too seriously.
Yeah. It's like, you're gonna die. We're all gonna die. It was just sad and horrible, but.
Is it really that sad?
What? Yeah,
horrible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Everyone does it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Also, it's like it just gives perspective again.
It does, yeah.
Like I was saying, I don't believe in failure actually.
Yeah.
I believe in.
It's how you judge
just
it.
in lessons.
Yeah,
There's no such thing as failure. Only lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
Like nothing goes to plan, and I actually love that. That's such a blessing. You should just go with the flow of things because that's the most important thing.
Indeed.
I think.
That was very zen of you. That was
very zen of me.
That's like a little haiku
it's
poem.
The wind and the sun and
I know,
the sea.
in nature.
And you, Luke.
Oh, thank you.
You make me zen. Okay. So I'm trying to think because these are still the first kind of few episodes of interviews of Baboushka. So I'm thinking of of like ways I can make this a little bit of original. Baboushka in Russian means grandma.
Does it?
Grandma.
Okay.
Yeah.
I only know it from the Kate Bush song, Baboushka.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Which
Listen
is
to
great. Yeah, and Baboushka Boy by A$AP.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
So grandma in Russian?
It means grandma in Russian.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, I mean, I told you Baboushka is Russian, I've got Russian heritage,
Yes,
and
yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
bit
yeah.
of a grandma when it comes to being, you know,
Yeah.
a group. No.
It suits you.
Exactly. And so Baboushka, I was thinking, like, music and your grandma. Is there anything, or like
Ooh.
anything that has inspired you from your grandmother?
Yeah. I've never met one of them, unfortunately. She died before I was born, but the other one, yeah, my dad's grandma, yes. My dad's parents are very religious, and my granddad was the organ master at church.
Okay.
So they'd only play very religious music.
So Catholic.
No, Church of England.
Okay. Protestant?
Protestant,
Okay.
yes.
Or Anglo?
No, I think
Anglican?
it's not Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. One of those. Can you tell we're not religious?
Yeah, exactly. So he would play every Sunday. My dad used to be there all Sunday, sort of singing all these hymns, which he hated. Well, yeah, he had a hard time with. So grandma. I guess I think of. I don't know. Unfortunately, never really connected with her in terms of.
This is why I thought it might have been a touchy question for some people.
Maybe she would have told me some hymns. I mean, I remember every time leaving doing a prayer in a group. And one time when I was younger, I thought I'd be funny and just like, we'd take a turn, and my cousin would never do it. He was the same age. And I was like, I'm going to do one. And I just like, I think I was like, you know, in your 7, I was like, dear Lord, wee, poo poo, and all that rubbish. And then it was just, I thought I was going to get a big laugh, and I didn't.
And you did?
I didn't, and never did it again. So.
Never did it again?
Yeah.
That's a really funny story, actually. I like that.
Don't take God's name in vain.
No.
Don't do it.
Got one last question.
Go.
If you were to have anyone else do a Baboushka interview, who would you like to see on Baboushka?
Someone, do you have to know them, or it could be anyone?
Anyone.
Anyone on Baboushka?
But anyone who's alive.
Anyone who's alive?
Who's like, who you would like to see interviewed.
Whoa. Gosh. There is a musician, I'm just going to say this one, musician called Wise Blood, and she's amazing, and she's quite mysterious, and I would love to know more about her. So, but I think she lives in the US. So
okay,
maybe.
Well that's fine. That's
but
perfect.
she's great.
So Baboushka, write a song about Baboushka.
Okay, have you got like a little beat?
A beat?
Just give me like some music.
Okay. Can you get one? Can you get one on your phone?
Okay. Here we go. Come on. If we're gonna do it, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm
Okay.
gonna film you like this. Wait, I'm gonna do it in full view. I'm gonna film you like this as well so I can have it as a reel.
Ready?
Ready?
I'm cooking up vibes with my girl and I'm Meerson. Baboushka, you're gonna wanna hear 'em. Culinary wizard on my left, she's fearsome. Anushka, she got the sauce. Baboushka, she got the thoughts. It's a creative, multifaceted platform for men, women, and non-binary. We're all here together. It's a family. Come on.
Yes, I love you. That was so good. Oh, that's jokes. That was sick. That was sick. Baboushka.
Blah, blah.
Bra, bra.